Okay. Great. All right. It's good to see everyone. Good morning. I was just saying in the Northeast, New Jersey, New York, it's been so rainy. And I think today it's a little overcast still, but I think it's supposed to be pretty sunny today. So I'm very excited about that. We need some sun, dry things up a little bit. But let's get started. Hold on, let me just make sure I need to make sure I keep tabs of the time so that we don't go over too much. And okay, all right, so let's start with some breath work. Let's do 3-part breaths. So one hand on the lower abdomen and one hand on your chest. And start the breath right in the lower abdomen, let it rise up through the rib cage. Just feel like a wave, just feel the breath rising up. The chest expands, and then on the exhale, think about reversing that. So the chest drops down, the rib cage pulls in, and then the lower abdomen pulls in. So at your own pace, nice and slowly, in through the nose and out through the nose. Starting to let everything go. Allergies have been, because of all of the rain, a lot of things are exploding with growth, which is great, but also a lot of people are suffering from allergies. So we'll do a little special something that's actually part of the beautiful face QiGong to help rejuvenate our face. It's actually really good for opening up the sinuses, for bringing clear energy to the face and the head, to nourish the brain. So if you're suffering from allergies, then this sequence that we will be doing might be helpful for you. Nice and slow. And then let your arms drop down, and let's go right into knocking on the door of life. So last week we did a little more of a yin style practice with water waves. We're gonna get back to a little bit more of a yang style today. So knocking across the lower abdomen, the lower back. Feel that nice loose rotation starting from the hips and the waist. Arms are nice and loose. We're starting to open up the spine so that we're sending energy up the spine like little shock waves. And then let's travel up just below the collarbone. And come all the way up, tops of the shoulders. And come back down below the collarbone. And then back down to the waist. And then start to slowly unwind. And come to stillness just for a moment. And then let's go into spinal cord breathing, and then we'll start facing forward, and then we'll start adding in a little rotation. So on the inhale, let's look up, open up the chest as the hands come up by the head. And then on the exhale, the tailbone tucks under, and then round the upper spine, and the chin tucks in. So inhale, and then exhale. And see if we can go even slower. So that as we curl forward, really feeling the articulations of the spine opening up. Right, as we curl forward, the back of the spine, the vertebrae open up, and then on the inhale, the front of the spine opening up. And tucking that chin and tucking the tailbone just stretches all the musculature along the spine just a little bit more. And let's add in a little rotation. So on the next inhale, as we unfurl, you're gonna turn to the left and look up, and then exhale back to center. Now inhale, turn to the right, and then back to center. Inhale, as we look up, exhale, curling forward. Inhale. Really healthy movement, right? Rotating, flexing, extending the spine to help encourage the flexibility, to combat back pain or stiffness. Keeping everything nice and supple. Do a few more. One more time to each side. And then on the next exhalation, let your arms just drop down. All right, let's do a little bit of clearing. So this is where the arms are stretched out to the sides. And then we take a nice inhale, and on the exhale, just let them drop down. So even just doing this a little bit, just think of just like exhaling and letting everything drop and fall off of you. Inhale, and now return to the right. And then inhale back to the center, and then turn to the left. So then again, so like legs are pumping, a little bit of bounce, so that we're helping to increase a little bit of that circulation from the legs back up. And the arms, so one arm in front, one arm in back, stretching space between the shoulder blades. Letting everything go. So think about just taking all that tension that tends to build up in the neck, the shoulders, the upper arms, and we're clearing it and shaking it off. And let's start to slow down. So let's do a little bit of chi massage. So we're gonna start with the face and the head. So this, I'm gonna come a little closer so you can see me. This again is part of a sequence that's called Beautiful Face QiGong. So it's QiGong that helps increase circulation to your face. It's said to help keep us looking youthful, but it really is also, it's more about having healthy circulation throughout the body. So we're gonna start, let's start with taking the two fingers in each hand, so your index finger and your middle finger, place them right at your temple, right next to and beside your eyebrow. You might feel a little indentation, and we're just gonna make circles. This is an actually acupuncture point called QiGong. We're just making round circles with medium pressure. Again, this is not just to help increase the youthfulness of our face, but this is really good if you're having sinus issues, allergies, itchy eyes, congestion. Now we're gonna take just the index finger and make little hooks. Okay, and you're gonna take that flat part right here. You're gonna place them right in the inner eyebrow. Okay, and we're gonna trace, I'll come closer. We're gonna trace the eyebrow from the center outward. And then come back to the center, outward. So you're basically right on your brow bone. From the center, again, medium pressure, coming out, usually you're ending up right at that QiGong acupuncture point that we started with. So we're just making nice, smooth, medium pressure strokes from the inside of the eyebrow towards the outside. And now let's pause at the outside of the eyebrow and just use your knuckle and create little small circles again at QiGong. And now we're going to keep those little hooks and now come to the center of the forehead. So above your eyebrows. And we'll make nice smooth strokes from the center of the forehead out and down again towards that QiGong point, the outside of the eye, sort of right by your temples. So we're making these nice smooth strokes. And then let's make a little bit of those circles again at QiGong. Can you just shake your hands for a minute before we go on? And now we'll go underneath the eyes. So making little hooks again and starting right beside the nose and very gently trace the underside of the orbital ridge here. I'm gonna go from the center and then out and up again towards that QiGong acupuncture point. So if you do this on your own, doing this like maybe 8 or 10 strokes at each location is totally fine. And now we'll take your middle fingers, put them on each side of your nose, and you're just gonna go up and down very gently. This is fantastic for your sinuses. So opening up if you have allergies or just you tend to get congested. And now take your fingertips and we're just gonna tap along the cheekbone. Tap, tap, tap. And now come down just a little bit next to the mouth and the lower cheek. And now come to the forehead. I'm gonna tap, tap, tap. And then come up to the crown of the head. And then you're gonna just work your way all around. So you can go from the top of the head, down the sides, down to the back in little circles. You can even get the back of the head a little bit towards the base of the skull. And then back up. Now rub your hands together. This is the last one. Get some heat generated. QiGong. And then you're going to place the palms right in front of your face. So you're not touching your face. They're maybe 4 to 6 inches out, and just close your eyes. Great. And then you can let your arms drop down for a moment. We'll continue with full body chi massage, but just take a moment, right? See how you feel. Maybe you feel a little clear-headed, maybe a little lighter. Maybe your sinuses, if they were feeling a little congested, they feel a little more open. So that's great to do, especially the chi massage over the head when you're feeling really tired. So now let's go into chi massage for the rest of the body. Let's start at the solar plexus. Let's come up and then back down a few times along the sternum. And then let's come now to the front of the right shoulder. And then let's work our way down. And then let's come up the outside. The front of the left shoulder. Work our way down and then back up. Coming into the center of the chest. Dropping down to the solar plexus area again. Down to the lower abdomen. And then let's travel around to the lower back. And let's travel down the back of the legs. Back of the knees, back of the calves, to the feet, and then come up the inside. And then back up to the lower abdomen. And then release. All right, so before we go into our flows, let's just do a little bit of stretching of the lower body. Let's come into a wide stance, and then your hands are on top of your thighs. Then we're just gonna move the body like a river. So moving from the hips and the waist first. Let the body roll. So the head arrives last. Just gentle stretch for the inner thighs. Letting the spine move laterally. Keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. A little lower. That feels good. You can go some more slowly. That feels better today. Or you can play around with going super slow. And then picking up the speed a little bit. And then let's come to the center. Grab one wrist with the opposite hand, a nice stretch. Looking up, and then keeping the knees bent, just extend forward, and then down. Just giving a little bit of attention to the hamstrings. And then slowly roll all the way up. And stretch up. And then exhale, the arms come down and bring the feet back to a closer distance. And let's just shake everything in preparation for our flows. And then let's start to slow down. All right. Since we're working a little bit on the lung and large intestine channels, which is what we're doing with the face QiGong, let's do a flow that has to do with the metal element, Buddha holding up the earth. So hands are starting with your palms facing up. And as we inhale, I'm gonna raise the hands up. They turn in towards you and then turn out and then up towards the sky. And then as we exhale, palms face down, they spin in. So the hands do a little bit of a rotation. So they start facing up and then they go in and then out. And then on the exhale, face down, spin in towards you and then face up. So we're gonna inhale nice and slowly. And then exhale nice and slowly. Now as we inhale, at the very top of the inhale, stretch the arms out just a little bit, like you have a little thread. We create some tension between the hands as you look up. And a slight pause before the exhale, and then exhale nice and slowly. Maybe a slight pause at the bottom of the exhale, and then we start the inhale again. So stretching the breath, stretching a little past that boundary, creating a little bit of that, not discomfort, but stretching your breath, right? We're creating these micro tensions that the body and our minds have to adapt to that can help encourage and inspire growth. And we're also opening up the pathway of the lung and large intestine channels here, which both run up and or down the arm to the thumb and index finger. So at the top, also spread your thumb and index finger apart, and then relax them as we exhale down. Inhale. And exhale. And remembering that this is the part of the class that we call flow, right? Having that sense of effortless ease where sort of time starts to bend and shift, right? And we're completely present. And it's almost like we just allowing ourselves to float on this current, and we're just being moved along with this very gentle ease and effortlessness. The metal element is as a reminder, right? The lung and large intestine channel. It's about boundaries, right? The immune system boundaries in general, like healthy boundaries. But it also is about the emotions of grief, right? And the act of letting go is very lung and large intestine oriented, but also inspiration and confidence. The letting go, we need to let go of, and having that space for inspiration. And helping create that frequency and resonance internally. Finding that deep center of stillness inside. Let's do one more inhale. And then exhale, let's pause with the palms facing up and your arms in this circle, just for a moment. Think of also the metal element is the container, like think of a metal vessel that holds things like liquid and water. We'll go right into a water flow called a fountain that has to do with the kidney and bladder. So the back of the hands come together. So I'm not really in a forward fold, but like bend the knees slightly, back of the hands come together, and then you roll from the tailbone tucking down, roll spine, come all the way up, and the arms just lift up, and then exhale down around in a circle. And as we come back down, that tailbone glides back, and the back of the hands come back together. Then we roll up and exhale, arms float out. So nice, easy unfurling, extending out and down. Think of a water spout or an actual water fountain, right? The water comes up And then extends out and like water does, descends back down. Just finding that aspect of water, that peace and tranquility, that is the connotation, the descriptive nature of water. We are, what, 70% water, something like that? So just think, like, we are predominantly this element. Just imagine that we are just a little boat floating on our own river of water. And we're just riding that tidal wave, the ebb and flow. Inhale, up, exhale, down and down. That rhythmic wave. Inhale and exhale. The other emotion of the water element is fear. You think of the sympathetic nervous system and the hormones that are associated with survival, fear, right? They are predominantly produced in the adrenal glands, which sit like little hats on top of the kidneys, right? And when we're in that sympathetic, fearful state, or we were out in the wild 5,000 years ago, right? That energy has a lot to do with the kidneys or the adrenals. They didn't really talk about the adrenals and traditional Chinese medicine. The kidney energy encapsulates both our actual kidneys and the adrenal glands. So where we are, the fear is a proper emotion for us to have. It's how we, it's based in survival and it ensures that we're not putting ourselves in danger, right? But a lot of times that level of, is my life in danger? May not be actually what's happening, but that same fear response kicks off that same cycle of hormone cascade. So this flow state and QiGong and exercises that help to calm that nervous system, right? Dial down that survival mode. And we're able to then pull in and dive into deep states of peace and calm. And on the next exhale, let's bring the arms back into that standing posture for a moment. Just let that sink in for a moment. Out of survival mode into deep states of relaxation, which is where healing happens. And from metal to water, what does water do? It nourishes, amongst other things. Where it nourishes the the wood element. Think of all this beautiful foliage that's happening or greenery that's starting to explode from all this water. So I'm gonna turn to the left. You're gonna take your two hands, trace up the sides of your body until the back of the fingers come together just above the crown of your head. Then turn to the center, like making little hearts. And then exhale the arms down and around, back to that starting position. Now turn to the right. And your hands are gonna trace the sides of your body, crown of your head, center, and exhale. And then creating a nice relaxed flow. So we inhale as we turn and raise our arms up. And then we come to the center and then exhale. And exhale. Tree sways in the wind. That's the name of this flow. Right, just think of the trunks, right? Where these are the trees, and their arms are the branches, and the hands are leaves. So we're just turning and swaying. Okay, there's a little bit of a Hi, can you hear me? Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but I apologize. I think the computer just crapped out, so now I'm on my phone, so hopefully you can see me, but I apologize, everyone, but let's just continue the last 5 minutes. So we'll go back into tree sways in the wind. So we're gonna, wherever you were, just pick up where we left off. And after the next exhale, let's come back to that posture, standing posture again. And we'll go into one more flow. This is
Let's go pebble in the pond. So I'm gonna flip so the palms are facing down. And then the tailbone's gonna glide back, and as the tailbone glides back, the arms are just gonna gently reach forward. And then separate the hands, so you're making a big circle, and then stand back up straight as the hands come back into the center. So it's an exhale forward, and then inhale to the center. Exhale. And inhale. I'll turn sideways so you can see. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Of spreading a tablecloth. Rolling it out. Spreading it nice and smooth, and standing back up. Nice and slow. Again, so we inhale, so we come in, and then exhale out, around, and then inhale back up. And let's bring it back to the center now, into our chi ball. And then drop your arms down. Let's inhale, down, round, and up. And then exhale, hands float back down. Inhale. And exhale. One last time. Inhale. And exhale. Let's end in bamboo in the wind. And then we're all set. You can crack your eyes open. Sorry about that last little hiccup. I think the laptop just went kaput on me. So anyway, thanks for bearing with me. Thank you all for joining me. And I will see you all next week.
Did you record the first part?
I did. So if I get the link, then I will send it to you. And I'm so sorry. I think this.
Yeah, because that was so great with all the sinus stuff was so great. Yeah,
okay,
I really wanted.
I'll make sure that if it wasn't, we'll do very similar next week, and I'll make sure the computer doesn't crap out, and I will but I'm pretty sure it did, because when I got logged back in, it said recording in progress. So I will send it to all of you. So thanks so much for bearing with me. Sorry.
Thank you.
Little technology snafus. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you. Good weekend, everyone.
You too.